Some lives begin in darkness. That was Bilu's story too. In a tiny broken-down house with a cracked table and a dark, lonely night, Bilu sat alone, a few counted coins in his hand, an unknown dream hiding in his eyes. There was one thing in Bilu's life that made him feel rich. Zara, beautiful, vivacious, dazzling Zara, who would come to visit him, and his broken-down house felt like a palace. Bilu had believed, as long as Zara is here, nothing is too hard. Then one day, Zara came, but this time something was different. She stood there, near Bilu's broken doorway, no tears in her eyes, just a cold decision, and said, "Bilu, I am leaving. You were always poor. You will always be poor. I cannot stay with someone who cannot give me anything. Goodbye." Bilu stood there for a long time, then stepped outside. It was raining. He walked in the rain, he cried, and sat somewhere far away. For a moment, it felt like everything was over, but at the end of the darkest night, one thought came. Will I always remain like this? Soaked in rain, Bilu walked back home and spotted an old dusty book under the table. He picked it up. It was an old recipe book, his mother's, who had left a long time ago. As he opened it, his mother's handwriting appeared. "Bilu, food is a language. When words are not enough, food speaks." Bilu's eyes filled with tears. The next day, Bilu got up, cleaned the old broken stove in his home, opened his mother's recipe book, picked up a knife, and started working. His hands were trembling. The first attempt failed, the second too, the third too, but Bilu did not stop. I have to learn. That was his only thought. A few weeks later, Bilu spent every saved coin, bought a small food cart, one burner, some pots and pans, and in a narrow lane of the neighborhood, put up a cardboard sign. Bilu's food. Not a single customer in the first hour, none in the second. In the third hour, one old uncle stopped. That old uncle, Amit Chacha, stopped, ate one plate, then sat quietly for a moment, then said, "Son, this food is not yours. This is your mother's. I recognized it. You have truly learned." Bilu's eyes filled up. Amit Chacha placed a hand on Bilu's shoulder and said, "I will come again tomorrow." And that was the greatest reward. Next day, Amit Chacha came back with 3 more people. Next day, 10, then 20, then a queue started forming. People began saying, "Bilu's food is something different. There's something in it. This lane has never tasted this flavor before." Bilu could not sleep, but this time for a completely different reason. Months passed. Bilu saved every single coin. Then that day came when he rented a small room, put in 4 tables, painted the walls by hand. Bilu's kitchen. Amit Chacha saw it on the first day. Even his eyes filled up. Bilu thought, this is just the beginning. Years passed. Bilu did not take a single day off. It would be 2 in the morning. Bilu would be in the kitchen. It would be 5 in the morning. Bilu would be in the kitchen. His paws would get cut and bruised. His eyes would never tire, because through every pain there was one thought: I will not remain poor. Then one day, a food critic arrived, ate the food, said nothing, then typed something on his phone. Next day, front page of the city newspapers. Bilu's kitchen, the best food in the city. Amit Chacha opened the newspaper, picked up his phone, and called Bilu. "Son, you did it." Then came the day that Bilu had dreamed of, a luxury restaurant, high ceilings, the name in gold letters, Bilu's. Bilu stood there, in full chef's uniform, and kept thinking, that night, that rain, those counted coins, all of it brought me here. Zara heard. The name Bilu's was now everywhere. The most expensive restaurant in the city, the most famous name in the city. Zara met someone one day and found out it was that Bilu. Zara looked in the mirror, then reserved a table. She thought, maybe, but Zara was still Zara. That night at Bilu's restaurant, everything was perfect. Chandeliers glowing, fragrance everywhere, elegance in every corner. Then she arrived. The door opened. Zara stepped inside, gold purse in her hand, that cold, elegant manner in her eyes, and she thought, yes, Bilu has done something, but Bilu is still Bilu, isn't he? Zara sat down, picked up the menu, her hand paused at the prices for a moment, but she composed herself. I just need to see Bilu once. The food arrived. She took one bite, and her eyes closed involuntarily. That flavor, that fragrance. Then she told the waiter, I need to meet the chef, without fail. Bilu stepped out of the kitchen, full chef's uniform. Zara saw him, recognized him, and then that scene happened that Bilu never imagined. Zara smiled, but that smile was poison, and said, "Oh, Bilu, you, a chef, restaurant owner, all of this is yours?" Then she surveyed the room and raised her voice slightly. Zara's voice rose even louder. "Everyone hear this. I know this man. He was poor. He lived in a broken-down house. He was never worthy of me. He couldn't give me anything. This was all he ever did his whole life, fall down and break. And now he has become a chef?" A silence fell over the restaurant. Everyone was watching. Zara paused, breathing hard, a strange satisfaction in her eyes. Then Bilu stepped one step, just one, and said quietly, "You are right, Zara. I was poor. I was broken. But..." Bilu paused, then smiled, and it was a smile from the heart. "I am glad that I was." A waiter quietly stepped to Zara's side and said something. Zara turned to look, then looked back at Bilu, then at the big gold Bilu sign. Then the waiter placed the bill on the table on which was printed, "Owner, Bilu." The color drained from Zara's face. Amit Chacha from across the room quietly raised his hand in a salute to Bilu. Everyone now knew. Zara lowered her eyes. "Bilu, forgive me. I was wrong. What you did, I could not understand." Her eyes filled with tears. Can you still..." Bilu closed his eyes for one moment. Something came back to him. That rain, those coins, that night. Bilu opened his eyes, looked at Zara, and said, quietly, without anger, "Zara, you left me at the time when I needed someone the most, and the pain you gave me then, that pain became my greatest strength. So thank you. But whatever was between us ended there. It is too late now." Bilu turned and walked back toward his kitchen. Bilu went into the kitchen, closed the door, stood there for a moment, took a deep breath, then picked up his mother's recipe book, opened a page, and went back to work. Amit Chacha came in and said, "Son, you did right." Bilu smiled. "It was because of you, Chacha." That night passed. The restaurant closed. Bilu was the last to leave. He stepped outside, stood there for a little while. The morning light was coming. Bilu remembered those coins one more time and smiled. "Mother, are you watching?" No answer came, but a cool, gentle breeze blew. Bilu understood. One day, Amit Chacha called Bilu. On the table were an old thing and a new thing. Old, Bilu's mother's recipe book. New, a framed article. Bilu, from nothing to everything. Amit Chacha said, "Son, keep this in your kitchen so that whoever comes to work, they know that greatness is born from difficulty." Bilu's eyes filled, and once again, like the very first time, he cried, but this time from joy. And so, a person who had nothing, whose heart was broken, who was left by everyone, proved poverty, a broken heart, being rejected. These are not the end of life. These are the beginning of life. Bilu never gave up, not for even 1 hour. Bilu just kept going, and the world watched.